Good morning, this is Het Shah and you're listening to MediaPlex News Radio. It's a brisk one today in Windsor as the winter finally seemed to have arrived. After the snowy weekend we had here in Windsor, it will be mainly sunny throughout Monday with temperatures at -4. Tuesday will be a mix of sun and clouds with temperatures rising to -3. Wednesday it will be sunny with a high of 2. But just be thankful you are not in Newfoundland. A severe snowstorm has shut down the city of St. John, where they have been in a state of emergency for their 4th running day. Businesses were closed, as was the international airport after the city received 76 centimeters of snow. Transit Windsor will go before council tonight to propose a new master plan for the city's transit system. The 8-year plan includes the purchase of 100 new shelters, 16 new buses, expansion of bus garages, and investments in vehicle health module. According to the report, improvements will cost more than $100 million over that time. The plan's increased operating cost will be in part funded through increased ridership, according to the report submitted to the council. Volleyball may not be a popular sport in Tanzania, but a group of aspiring teachers is using that sport to raise funds for residents of the African nation. Colonel Patel explains how.
Students of the Education Department at the University of Windsor got the adrenaline pumping for many volleyball enthusiasts Sunday morning. They organized a volleyball tournament, but for a cause. They are trying to get funds for their upcoming trip to Tanzania that aims to provide education to the poverty-afflicted community of Africa. The tournament raised $2,000, but according to student organizer Natalie Gonnier, none of the volunteers will get any money from it.
So it doesn't actually go to the volunteers who are going. It doesn't pay their way of the trip. It just goes strictly to the funding of buying all the materials and resources that they need over there.
But what led them to Tanzania? Gonnier explains.
There's not as much funding for schools and to be able to provide books and stuff. So when they went on the trip a few years ago, they brought a ton of books, and it was the first time that some of the students had seen a brand new book, and the teachers broke down crying, and just simple things like that we take for granted here in Canada. They don't have those resources.
Professor Clinton Beckford, who is the teacher of the class, has had an ongoing relationship since the first journey in 2008. Beckford will be joined by 20 students who seem to be excited about their journey. Anthony Tanaus is one of the students in Beckford's class.
I'm personally not going on the trip, but I know a few friends that are coming. They've been saving up to, because it is an expensive trip, but it's for a good cause.
The teachers in training and their professor will be leaving on March 3rd. For MediaPlex News, I'm Kanal Patel.
Educators in Ontario are holding a one-day full withdrawal of services tomorrow, which includes teachers at Ottawa Carleton and Toronto and York Region School Boards, and ECEs at Toronto Catholic School Board. Members have been running a Work to Rule campaign for months, holding a series of rotating one-day strikes affecting Ontario's elementary and secondary schools in both the public and separate school boards. Last week, Education Minister Stephen Lees announced a Support for Parents initiative offering parents up to $60 per day to cover childcare costs. It strikes action closes school. Cystic fibrosis is the most common fatal genetic disease affecting Canadians. But that didn't stop a day full of fundraising from being an absolute ball. Ryan Percy has more.
In all sorts of children's media, the princess ends up saving the day. And this weekend brought that into the real world. The Chicharo Club was transformed into a magical world of discovery for a princess ball in support of Cystic Fibrosis Canada. Victoria Hopper is the Fund Development Coordinator for Cystic Fibrosis Canada in southwestern Ontario. She said while the ball drew in around 500 princesses and a few young princes, there was one young girl who had the spotlight.
Monthly. This year, Sasha is our CF princess. So Sasha is 6 years old. Sasha and McKenna both have cystic fibrosis.
Approximately 4,200 individuals live with cystic fibrosis in Canada. Marissa LePage is Sasha's mother. She said the condition's erratic nature is always hanging over the family's lives.
It's scary. We never know exactly what next week is going to look like sometimes. She can be perfectly fine one day and then within days is admitted for IV antibiotics.
Despite her condition, Sasha was just as happy and carefree as any other princess at the ball. For MediaPlex News, I'm Ryan Percy.
Thank you for listening to MediaPlex News Radio.